welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, as you already read in the title, I am doing an updated calling all education majors during the program video. And so probably like last year I had did a video, I'll link it up above, about the education major before the program, and now I'm going to be discussing everything while you're in the program. Since I'm accepted in the program, I feel like it's necessary to explain how it is and what the requirements are and what are the expectations. And so I will do a disclaimer. When I made my previous video, I wasn't really deep in my major, so a lot of the things that I was saying were for everyone. Whether you did early childhood, middle grades, or secondary, it was a basic overview. Like, those are the prerequisites that you had to do before you ended up going into the program. Now that I'm in the program, my major is middle grades education, and I'm going to be specifically speaking about that. So if you are an early childhood major or secondary education major, I wouldn't say, click off this video, because there could be some vital information that will help you, but this information is specifically towards middle grades education majors. So let's just get on with the video. So at this point now, you have passed the GACE admissions exam. You've taken all three parts: math, reading, and writing, and you have your pre-service certification. So there's this thing called Practicum, and Practicum is when you do your hours in the schools. You have to do 60 hours per semester. Now, before the program, you only have to do 10 hours per semester. But now that you're in the program, you're getting deeper and deeper into what you are supposed to be doing, your career. And so it takes out more time of the day. I would recommend that you dress professional whenever you go into the school setting, because this is your profession, and soak up the experience. Ask questions, make connections with the teachers. Don't just sit in the back and watch the kids or watch the teacher. Actually, act as if this is your career. This is what you want to do. So while you're in the program, you have to take 2 tests. I know y'all like, oh my gosh, more tests. Exactly, I don't know. But this is what we have to do. So the 2 tests are called the GACE content test. And so for middle grades education majors, we have 2 areas. My 2 areas are science and English language arts. So usually they have a science block and a language arts block, or whatever your areas are, whether it's math and reading or math and social studies, whatever your 2 areas are, you will have an entire block. And what I mean by that is an entire semester of all of your language arts classes, or all of your math classes, or all of your social studies classes. And this is not necessarily teaching you social studies, it's teaching you how to teach social studies to students. And so usually when you have those blocks, at the end, you'll take your content test, and they prefer that you take it at the end because they want to make sure that it's like fresh on your brain. And so then you go to the next semester, you'll have your other content area, and then at the end, they recommend that you take it, and then you pass it. So you have to pass your GACE content test before you do student teaching. Those are the requirements. And so there are 2 different levels that you can score in. The induction level is a 220 score, and then the professional level is a 250 score. I want to pass at a 250 just so I can pass at a professional level, but those are the 2 different levels: induction and professional. Now, this test costs between $125 to $145, and so it's very, very, very critical that you study for this test. Like, both of these tests, it's very critical, and you want to pass both of them so you can be duly certified. And if you're duly certified, it looks better on your resume, and schools will want to hire you like that, So, anyways, back to the cost of the test. It's very important to make sure that you study before you take these tests, because these tests cost money, y'all. It costs money, and who has time to be failing and paying more money. Like, we already went through this with the GACE Admissions Test. We already redid it, retook the test, had to pay more money. We can just do our best and just hit one and done. Let's just pass it and move on. I haven't taken my test yet, and when I do study for my test, I will be using Khan Academy and the GACE content test prep books that they have on the website, and I will film all of that, how I study and everything, because I want to take you guys along with me. And so when that time comes, I will be sure to include you all in that. But that's everything as far as testing, test scores, and the cost and all of that. Next, you will have to prepare for your audit. So every college student has to do something called an audit, and it's basically preparing you for graduation. So your advisors want to make sure that you're on track to graduate. Now, audit is making sure that you've taken every class that you have to take for your specific major and making sure that you passed every class, because you don't want to get to the end of your senior year and then you find out that you have to retake a class because you failed it, or you have to retake a class because you've never taken it in the first place. Lastly, student teaching. Now, I will probably do a separate video on student teaching again when I actually do my student teaching. But as far as I know right now, student teaching is done at the last semester of your college year. And so you are going to be in the schools 8 hours a day. It's basically like you're a teacher. You're just not getting paid to teach. But it's a requirement. You have to student teach. You have to pass the EdTPA, all of that. Now, I'd also want to make a separate video on EdTPA because there's so many things. It's just a lot that goes into it, and I feel like it'll be easier to explain it in a separate video because it gets deep, y'all, and I don't want to make this video too long. But that's another thing that you have to pass. And so student teaching, EdTPA, all of those two goes hand in hand. That's something that you will be working on your last semester of college. You don't want to wait too long to finalize all of these tests and the portfolios. You don't want to wait too long for that, because you want to make sure that you're at a good pace. That way, if you do have to retake it, you'll have time. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Like I said, I will be doing a separate video on EdTPA and student teaching when I do get to that point. Right now, I'm still getting my hours in the school, so I'm not really at that level yet. But like I said, I just want to do an overview of what you should expect during the program. If you guys have any more questions, please let me know in the comments down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. All of my social media accounts will be in the description box below. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in my next one.